Hi, my name is Marty Machowski, and I'd like to read to you a story today from my book, The Gospel Story Bible. We're going to be reading Story 115, The Crucifixion and the Criminals. Now, we read another story just a day ago for Maundy Thursday, Jesus washing the disciples' feet. And there are a few stories between that one and this one. So if you'd like, you can read those on your own. But for now, we're going to be reading on page 230, story 115, The Crucifixion and the Criminals. All through the night after Jesus was arrested, the high priest questioned him and people told lies about him. Early the next morning, he was led away to the governor's palace where Pontius Pilate ruled. The Jews told Pilate that Jesus had committed crimes against Rome by claiming to be a king. But Pilate didn't want to get involved. When he heard that Jesus was from Galilee, he sent him to King Herod, who was in Jerusalem at the time. Pilate hoped Herod would fix the problem. When they stood before Herod, the Jewish leaders accused Jesus again. But Herod didn't think Jesus had done anything wrong, so he sent him back to Pilate. Pilate questioned Jesus a second time. But he still didn't think Jesus was guilty of anything. He knew the religious leaders were jealous of Jesus. He just wanted to let him go. Each year at Passover, the Romans had a tradition to allow one prisoner to go free. Pilate asked the crowd, "Do you want me to free Jesus, the King of the Jews?" "No," the crowd shouted. "Give us Barabbas." Barabbas was another prisoner. "What should I do with Jesus then?" Pilate asked. "Crucify him," the leaders and the people said. "But why?" Pilate asked. "What evil has he done? He hasn't done anything to deserve death." But the people only shouted more loudly, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" So Pilate gave up. He sent Jesus away to be beaten by the Roman soldiers. After whipping Jesus until he bled, the soldiers twisted a crown of thorns and placed it on his head. They put a purple robe on him and made fun of him and struck him on the face. But when Jesus came out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe, the chief priests and officers shouted, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Still, Pilate looked for a way to set Jesus free. But the Jews shouted to Pilate, "If you let him go, you are no friend to Caesar." Finally, Pilate released Jesus to be crucified. The soldiers led Jesus up a hill to be crucified. They nailed him to a wooden cross and lifted him up to hang there until he died. Pilate ordered a sign to be attached to the cross that said, "Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews." 2 robbers were crucified with Jesus, one on each side. One of them mocked Jesus and said, "If you are the Christ, the Messiah, save yourself and us." But the other robber said, "You and I deserve our punishment, but Jesus has done nothing wrong." He called out to Jesus, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom." Jesus answered with these amazing words, "Today you will be with me in paradise." 2 robbers hung on the cross with Jesus. One believed while the other mocked. The Bible tells us that God's arm is not too short to save anyone. Even the thief in this story, who led a sinful life all the way to the end, was saved from sin on his very last day. We all have the same choice to make as those 2 robbers. We can reject Jesus like the thief who made fun of him, or we can put our faith in him like the one who asked Jesus to remember him. Those are our choices. We either believe in Jesus or we reject him. If we put our faith in Jesus, no sin is too great to be forgiven. Like the robber who repented, we all start out as God's enemies in our sin. But Jesus' death on the cross brings us back into a good relationship with God.